Hey everybody, this is Jake with Classic Daily. We're gonna try some live streaming here from our Dyno cell in beautiful Colin. This will be the first one, and hopefully many more to come. We have a turbo M20 here going on, and pop around here. Turbo M20 going on. I'll show you what we have here. So that's the car in the Dyno cell. Here I am right there, and it was sent to us to tune and fix a few things that the customer had done. It has an Innovate SG1 boost controller that we're going to set up here in a moment, and it's running Mega Squirt from DIY Auto Tune, their PNP setup, and we're going to go through that and show you how to use those. And then it's running it's a Dynocom dyno, but it does not have their electronics anymore. I ditched all that stuff, and it is running running your dyno actually. So let me show you what that screen looks like. So if you notice, it's sitting right now just at you have power, torque, RPM, boosted vacuum, and then there's some couple things at the bottom there for the dyno. Eventually, when we tune some more, I might not do this all today, but you'll have AFR and whatnot as well. So we're going to hop over, show you setting up the SG1, and then go from there. Pop over there. I'm going to be kind of popping in and out, and if people are watching, just send me a message on media, and I will try to answer you with what's going on. Send a message to a couple people here, specifically the owner and other guys who want to watch this. It'll go live, it'll stay live or archived on the page after we get things going, but I kind of want to try this out to make sure things work the way they're supposed to work, and before we launch it to everybody. All right, so let me show you the car here a little bit. I'll bounce around and look at some different spots. There is the car I showed you a second ago. There is the rear of the car. And then that's the one that we'll stay with most of the time right there because you can see everything what's going on. And then there's the tuning computer that I can show you that's running off my Dell. And then you can see me here with the tuning computer, and I can show you some stuff, how we go. Okay, so there's me. Let me bring up some stuff here. Okay, so this computer does have serial built into it, so it can connect right to it. So if you see, we have the Allen programmer is set up. You haven't used this boost controller very much, so it's a little bit of a learning process for me. I read through the manual, and the button process works, and I might show that later, how that works. But I will show you how it works on the computer. So if you have a serial port or USB to serial, you can use this app. It works quite well. It's pretty quick and easy to set up. So all right, we're going to go into boost control settings here. We want to have it labeled in AFR, as you can see me circling there. We'll have it show as PSI and then vacuum. We're not really going to worry about the RPM because I don't have that wired in this car. Boost control on right now, wideband on, and then I'll explain what's going on here with these different setups. When we first do pulls, we will do straight pulls just off of the spring, which I think I have an 8 PSI spring in this setup. Boost. So wastegate duty cycle, so this is currently set at 4. So what that is, that's how it's going to pulse the valve to try to get more boost. Let me see if I have the manual up. I can show you the manual and explain how this is actually working. Okay, so two different ways you can wire this boost controller. You can wire like this as shown, or we can wire the solenoid like that with an external 2-port. This is the way it's done. And this is, let me explain how this works and why it works the way it does. So you have a boost signal coming here, okay? This is going to the bottom of the gate. So this would be if you had no boost controller, you would connect right to here. So what that's doing is the boost pressure is acting against the spring, and then as we overcome the pressure of the spring, it's going to open up the gate and lower exhaust gases around the turbine. And, lower, obviously, or not obviously, but lowers boost. So I never knew how it worked until I kind of thought about it a little bit. Figure that out now too. So what it does is this gate, or this here, is closed by default. So no boost control, it's off. So what happens is when it's on, it's pulsing this valve, it's going to then divert boost here into the gate, and then it's going to also push boost through the top of the gate, here. So what you're doing is you're pushing boost onto the top of this gate, and it's making that spring. So then this has to overcome that amount to be able to get up there. So it's pulsing this rapidly and pushing boost here, and then it's also pushing boost here to keep the gate closed. Then when we hit our boost, and this solenoid is going to shut, forcing boost only to this direction. Okay, so that's how that works. If you were using this method with an internal gate or just a single port gate, then hopefully you all can hear me if you're listening. What that's doing is that's just pushing boost. So you can see here, it's going to automatically go that way. When it pulses the gate, it's gonna leak boost out this port over here, and then we're leaking boost just like a standard boost controller that you're turning. Okay. So, all right, back to this duty cycle here. It's currently set at 4, the higher boost you're going to run. We are not going to start doing pulls at all. Boost control. We'll set this to like, for now, I'm going to set it at 15%. And then when we actually turn it on, and go from there. So activate boost pressure. So this is going to be, it'll hold that gate closed until you hit this boost, which is going to keep things moving. I'm getting a phone call. Not to that. So we're going to set that at, in this case, we're going to set it at 10. Okay. Boost cut by pressure. So what this will do, when the boost gate is, or the boost controller is active, it's going to kill boost. Boost. It'll shut the controller off and hit over. We're going to set this at, 14. Okay. Yeah, it's at 14. And it cuts at 100%. So boost by AFR, so because this has got a fuel ratio gauge in it as well, we're going to set it at start pressure. So if we hit anything over 5 psi, it's going to cut boost. That's if the boost controller is on, and we're going to set that. We'll leave that where it is, and if AFR, no, we're going to boost that up a little bit. We're going to go up to 7, we'll go to 8 psi, and we're going to put the boost cut at 12 and a half. We're going to put it at 12 even. Okay, so we're going to program. So what that's going to do is, in this case, if we hit over psi, it's going to shut, which is kind of our max boost. We're going to set it around. If we hit 12, it's going to then cut below 8 psi, and our AFR is okay. Analog out, this spot here, that's going to be for information sending over to it's going to send information over to Megascore. Okay. I think both out of there. Shut the car off. All right. You can look at the car here for a moment. I'm going to bounce around and set some things up. Switch from the AFR gauge over to Megasquirt because that's also running serial. Anyone that's watching, if I'm too loud or too quiet or whatever, maybe please inform me of what's going on. Ideally, if you know who I am, send me a message because I don't have the YouTube stream up right now in the setup we have going. Maybe I'll pop the phone out here in a second and show you the car once as it's warming up. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's take a look at this. See how it's looking. Multi-cam setup. So yeah, I got the stream here happening. Let's see. Turn this volume off, maybe. Multi-cam setup. So yeah, it might be choppy because this is where I have my adjust a little bit. All right, I don't need to watch that. All right, so let's jump over to tuning computer. Open up Tuner Studio. You should see me on the tuning computer now. Open up Tuner Studio. And I'll show you around. We're going to also open up, we're going to close this. We're going to open up Megalog Viewer. Show you around how the tune looks. All right, we're going to open the current tune for this car. Let's see here, what do we got going on? Where are you? Oops, wrong thing. Okay, so we're not connected, as you know, or as you can see. We'll bounce around here and I'll show you some things, how tables look and just where things are in Tuner Studio for Megasquirt. All right, so basic stuff. This is our engine and sequential settings for Megasquirt. That's where you're going to set required fuel. That would be your injector flow rate, size of the engine, and then it figures out the amount of fuel that it actually should be injecting for a quick, proper burn. Speed density, we'll do 2 alternate 4 strokes, 6 cylinders, untimed injection, so it's just doing it in batch injection. Feel welcome to ask questions and I can answer this later. General settings, it's pulling a barometric pressure off just the first read of the map sensor. Okay. Map sensor inputs map. Dual table use, we're going to use single table. Fuel size, we'll use 16 by 16, it's a little bit bigger. Speed density, I usually turn this off right here, so don't include AFR target. Ignition load, speed density, goes out of there. Rev limiter, we got this set at 6600, and then we might bump that up as we go further. TAC outputs on, okay, that stuff is MAF, we don't have MAF. Okay, fuel settings, so usually when tuning, by default in Megasquirt, it's going to turn this setting on. So on fuel cut, so when you lift off the pedal, at certain RPMs, it's going to cut fuel, is what that means. I turn it off, so then we're 100% controlling the fuel accurately. Okay. EGO control. This is going to be where it's like closed loop. And I 100% make sure you turn this off if you are tuning Megasquirt in the beginning. Until your fuel tables are really close, turn it off. Okay, so that's disabled. Here's our AFR table, target table. This is used for that closed loop AFR setup and anytime when you're using auto-tune. I don't use auto-tune much. I'd suggest that you don't use auto-tune much either because it's junk. It makes tables look bad. Make sure you're smoothing if you use auto-tune. I will use auto-tune on the dyno because I can hold RPM and do solid state and control it gently. Okay. Oops, didn't mean to do that. What the hell happened? All right. Okay. All right. Fuel table. So here's the fuel table. This is what we're going to be looking at mostly a lot right now. This area right here is something that I learned from Scott Clark, a big drag racer tuner, is in the spot where you're actually tuning idle is make that all the same. It's going to help stop wandering of your idle, and it's steady because what's going on is the engine bounces up or down a little bit of RPM, then it's going to change fueling greatly. If we keep that fueling the same all the time in that area, then it's going to keep it steady. Also, if you don't use 3D, if you don't look at the 3D table, look at it because it's going to tell you a lot of information. So we want it to be smooth. We've done a little bit of tuning here, so that's a little bit bumpy, and I would smooth that out, but this table should be smooth, okay? We shouldn't see big jumps. We wouldn't see big peaks and valleys like that. If you see things like that on your table, it's not good. It's wrong. You don't want that. Go away. There we go. Okay. Go away. We're not going to look at ignition settings too much. Ignition table, we'll look at that. That's where I'm sitting right now. I won't probably play with that all that much. Good. I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to show every little thing. We probably might not touch that today. Ideally, on a dyno is where you need to be adding timing so you can watch maximum torque. So you can watch where the torque is happening and also be listening for knock. I have knock set up, but I haven't used it yet. So that'll be another video to show how that works, and probably on this car. Okay, but this is a very conservative, pretty good timing table for a turbo boosted car. Again, in here, so if you notice that's that idle area, I'm going to lock that timing so it's the same, and that's going to help get that idle quality a lot better. All right, man. Thank you. Thanks there, DJ. All right, let's see here. Startup and idle. I think I would say the hardest thing in tuning any sort of mega squirt or any standalone or any car in when it's not stock is starting, cold start, idle quality. That's the most difficult. Drivability, most difficult. Bottom throttle pulls, that's kind of easy if you really think about it. It's a fairly small area of the tune that you're messing with. This car doesn't have an idle valve. The customer didn't want it, so we welded it shut, and it's all turned off. So this is a little bit more finicky than a car that has an idle valve, because I'd have an idle valve if it was my car. Okay, crank settings. So anything, let me think. Let's just say anything below. Okay, anything below 500 it considers cranking. Fuel flood, okay, that's above 70 is when it's going to flood. Prime pulse, we're not going to worry too much about that today. Or actually, will. Prime pulse, this is going to be what it's actually pulsing right here when you turn the key on. It's going to pulse those injectors just a little bit, get a little fuel in the engine to get it to turn over and run. Cranking pulse. This is what it's actually, the percentage of the VE tables, the fuel tables that it's injecting to get it to kick off. After start percentage, so after it starts, engine needs a little bit extra fuel just to kind of stay running and be smooth. So this is what this table is. So this is the percentage of fuel over top of the VE. So we got more when it's cold. I haven't tuned this really at all. This is how it came in, and this is going to be the time, the taper of how much time in seconds that it does this. I haven't touched this at all in this car. It seems fine. I think runs and starts pretty okay. So we're not going to mess with that unless we actually have to. Warm-up enrichment, this is something that I guess can get messed up, and it can really screw with your tune a lot, especially if you tune not with the computer, or if you mess something up or you change something, you don't notice it. So this area down here at the bottom, I'll move this over, hopefully you can see it. This area down here at the bottom, when we're getting to full warmed up temperature, that should be 100. If you have that set at 105, then you will never jump out of warm-up enrichment. If you have it set at 80, it's going to be pulling 20% of fuel out of your whole VE table, and you'll rack your head and go crazy, like, why the heck is this thing not doing what I want it to do? So make sure at the top here that this is at 100. I usually have this, it's all different. Every car is different. So this one, up to about 150 degrees, and I got a little impatient, so I put them both at 100. Okay. Idle control, this car, it's off. If you would turn it on, there's on and off valve, PWM, which is stock for an E30, or a stepper valve, which would be a GM stepper valve, or something aftermarket, which is way better than a pulse width. We're gonna leave it off on this car because it is off. All right, idle control, we're not worried about any of this stuff here, okay? Usually with, if you have a wideband that's working, if you have not wideband, sorry, if you have a TPS that is variable, then you can use this. I've tuned many cars with not using any sort of Excel enrichment or TPS. You can do it just with the VE and finding those spots in the VE, and I can show you where those would live when we have the car running. But this car has a variable TPS, so we will use it. But these are off. And then what we're using is time-based. So this table here, I don't haven't done a ton of stuff down in that zone. But this table here, we'll turn the car here in a second. I'll show you how it reacts. Is as you've come onto the pedal, the higher this or the faster you come onto this, you'll get more fuel. So we'll turn it on right now and show you because it makes more sense. So you can see us bouncing around as I tap the throttle. You see that little dot bouncing around in that area. If I tap it just gently, we circle around in here. If I go on it hard, really hard, then we're gonna bounce way up here because it's gonna try to add more fuel because you're coming in faster. The VE can't react as quickly, so this is going to make up for that and take up for that spot. Okay. Since the car is on now, you can see we have air-fuel ratio down here set up, and that's coming off the SG1. If we go into our fuel table here, you can see we're hovering in this zone right here because we're not running. It's at 100 kPa. 100 kPa being atmosphere. So once the engine starts, below down here will be vacuum. Above here is boost. Throttle position, you can see us moving here. Coolant temp, it's 42 degrees, which is probably pretty accurate. I'm in the dyno cell, and it's cold here in Michigan, and the door is closed, so we'll keep that kind of warm. Okay, let's see here. So shut the car off, and we will bounce around to some other things and see if anyone's saying anything, and if I can answer any questions of people maybe chatting here. How this is looking. Okay. Pretty accurate. I'm in the dyno cell, and it's cold here in Michigan. All right, let's see what anyone else is saying. Have a couple people look out, see if this is up and running. Okay. All right. Now we go here. Dyno computer. Okay, so this runs, as I mentioned, this is running your dyno. We'll have dyno computer in me. I'll talk about it a little bit because I like this stuff. I like telling people about things. This is running your dyno. This is not Dynocom software, which is Quantum. I had that for a long time in this dyno, and frankly, it didn't work. So I ditched it. And this is from a guy in his garage in Norway, or maybe it's not his garage, probably his living room, or his side bedroom that makes this setup. And it's awesome. It works really well. It is definitely very, very customizable for any dyno. You can run it on a chassis dyno, you can make a hub dyno, you can make an engine dyno, anything. I really like this. It works really well. It's all set up with a keyboard. I have this keyboard here going and working. And, well, Ken, I was looking into space. Just, it'll catch up with you. So you can run a keyboard to control it. It has really awesome solid state tuning. It's very customizable, but works really well. I can turn fans on and off. We can turn the wideband on and off. It's pretty sweet. Okay, so we're going to hop over. Okay, you got the dyno screen on there. We're going to shut this off. And we're going to turn some fans on. So we can turn the fan on. That's the rear fan right now. This other fan here is for the engine monitor. We're not going to worry about that yet until the car warms up a little bit. All right, we're going to hop over to the tuning computer and me. Like so. We'll start it. As I mentioned, there's no idle valve in this car, so it does need a little bit of coaxing to get working. So I'm pedaling it a little bit. If you look on the throttle position here, I'm talking loud because the windows are open. Hopefully it's not too loud. We'll roll some windows up and shut the door. From the tuning computer here, you can see my throttle position right now is about 3.6. That's me on the pedal. So we'll let it warm up a little bit. And if you look, the AFR right now is a little bit rich because we are in warm-up enrichment. So we'll take a little time right now since it's cold, and we can play with that warm-up enrichment a little bit. So meaning we probably should bring that down just a little bit. So you can see our AFR right now is about 12.5. Our warm-up, we are in warm-up enrichment right now. I tune with the keyboard, so I'm using the down arrow. Lean it out just a little bit. It is cold, so the thing is going to want to run a little bit richer. Hopefully you can hear it. Here, let's pop over so you can see the whole car. Like that. Let's see here. Let's pop over so you can see the whole car. Like that. If anyone that's watching, if you can hear the car, let me know if you can hear the car running, because it'd be really nice if maybe I'll add another mic so you can hear the car a little bit more. You may be able to hear Tim also grinding right now, which is nice. So I'm gonna hop out of the car here for a moment, and I will shut the door. But what we'll also do is let's show you the car. Here, I'll pop over to this different device. iPhone. All right, I'm gonna run around. Oh, gotta shut some doors. Show you the dyno cell here. That's the Eddy brake controller. Fans are running, car's running. Pretty simple setup. Pretty much eBay turbo kits. We did not do the installation. We fixed a handful of things on the car, and we're gonna tune it, okay? So your standard run-of-the-mill E30 convertible with these dope-ass side skirts. That wire there is running out to the tuning computer. Let me show you This is a messy wiring setup. That's the Your Dyno box, and the DAC box. Lock that. Another computer, and then the one thing that I do thank Dynocom for explaining to me is to run this power VAR. So that's keeps the power a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna lock this so it stays shut. That one's not shut. All right, here's our TV. I'm gonna shut this door. Then I can sit in the car and not have to be loud. Turbo setup, still a fan. There's the fans keeping the engine clean, which are currently off. Okay. Hop around, back to me. I'm gonna hop in the car here in a moment. Just letting it warm up a little bit. I'm gonna jump to this. I have tuned this car a little bit, mostly out of boost areas, or all out of boost areas. So today we'll do some more boost spots. There, it's a little quieter in here. Okay. It's a little temperature in the car. The old taparoo of the Alright, what do we got on right now? I think it's just my old face. Alright, so let's see. Dyno with overlay. We'll go to that. Actually, no, we'll go to this. Show you the computer a little bit. So, as I mentioned before, now that it's running, so we have engine RPM down here, or over here on the left. We have our fuel ratio, which as you see is coming up now because it is warming up a little bit, so it's popping out of warm-up enrichment. Engine map, so before it was, when it's not running, it was at 100, that's atmosphere. Below 100, again, is vacuum. Above 100 is boost. 200 kPa would be 14 pounds of boost, or approximately, depending where you live. Here's our timing, throttle position, lost sync. This is probably because when I turned the car on, it lost a little bit. Someone else's DJ just messaged me and said, "Don't let it make more than mine." I don't know. We'll see what it does. It's a different dyno setup. So now, okay, we look at the VE tables here. Let's shrink that down a little bit. As you can see, we're kind of floating around right at about 1,000 RPMs and 13 to 1 AFR. Warm-up enrichment down here where the mouse is popping around, that is still on. So if we go to warm-up enrichment, okay, we're at probably 102-ish. See, it's gently coming down. Once we get to 140 degrees, it will be off. That's how I have it set up as. So if you see when I blip the throttle here a little bit, we move around in the VE table and our AFR changes. It looks like it's a little bit rich yet. So that could be from two things. It could be from our VE table, or what else? What else could it be? Oh, the Excel enrichment. I knew what that was. It was just a thing. All right, Excel enrichment. Here we go. Time-based Excel. So as you see, watch as I blip the throttle. I can't point. So as this comes up right here, this spot here is bouncing into this table, and the higher this number is here, the more fuel. So if I can come onto it really fast, like that, it's gonna come into this spot here, and it'll probably get almost too rich. The car, you couldn't hear it, but the car did kind of struggled a little bit. So we're gonna bring this down a little bit so we're not getting so much fuel. And this is going to help a lot when you're taking off, tipping, coming onto the clutch. There's so many different things where this does help. On cars that have no variable TPS, a lot of M20s you don't install on variable TPS, or if it doesn't work, you can tune around that, and I'll show you how I do that. So in this area here, watch when I come into it, we kind of came up a little bit into this spot. So I'll add a little extra fuel in this zone to be able to act like idle enrichment, or cell enrichment, okay? All right, so back to our dyno computer and me. All right, so the car is warming up a little bit. We're gonna turn some more fans on. We're gonna turn on, that's gonna be the fan that's on our engine we have going on. We'll go out of there. We're gonna pop over to this. Okay, so right now in your dyno, I'm running engine RPM is going to be based on the roll speed. I don't have this set up. I don't have a RPM gauge on the car right now. That can be done, and then we would have another color down here where you would see. Do I have the right one? Where you would see RPM off the engine. We're going to set RPM based on the roll speed of the wheels. So down here in brake control, for now we are going to turn that off so the brake can't take anything. With the your dyno, we're going to go into RPM setup, and we're going to run off the. We're going to lock it to the tachometer, because we have Megasquirt here. I can use Megasquirt and see the actual exact RPM, and then it will lock and show us RPM. Now this is going to be based on whatever gear you're in. So if we're in first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, whatever have you, it's going to matter. So we're going to start. We're going to do some. I'll do a little bit of solid state tuning just to show you how this works and how it works with Tuner Studio. So we're going to do it third gear, so we're not going 100 miles an hour. Okay. So let's see. We're going to go to this. So now you can see the car moving. Look at that. So we're going to get into third gear. And this, I might have already locked this now that I'm thinking about it, because it's a, yeah, maybe. No, I locked it in fourth gear. So okay, we're gonna bring, don't mind this engine RPM right now. I'm gonna look at Megasquirt on my computer here. You can see, there's Megasquirt. You can see that we're at engine RPM there in the upper left. And I'm gonna pull that to about 2,000 RPMs. 2,000 RPMs right there, and then we're gonna lock rear ratio there, and now you can see our engine RPM is locked at 2,000. So we'll hit OK. So now as I come up in RPM, it's gonna match. It will match what it is in Tuner Studio right there. 3,000. And then 3,000 right there. It's getting a little bit louder here now because we are driving a car inside a room. And then we can just kind of bounce around and start adjusting it. Again, as I mentioned, I did tune a lot of this already, so this is pretty darn close. We're gonna jump over to the tuning computer and show you some stuff, okay? So our fuel ratio here is at 14. That's right where we want it to be. Again, I tuned this already on the dyno driving the car. Go into our fuel settings and you can look at the VE table here. Now just to show you how this works, if we're sitting and bouncing, holding in this little spot right here, if I select that, watch our fuel ratio in this corner here. Hopefully my face isn't over it. We'll shut my face off. And I can add some fuel. Now that number is going to increase. I'm going to add, let's say 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, see how it went down? And we went and we leaned it back out. Now I'm going to burn it so it's saved to the computer. This lost sync counter will go up because it does it. It kind of resets Megasquirt. So don't think that and the car will kind of have a little bit of a jerk. Okay. All right, so I'll show you how this works with the solid state tuning with Megasquirt. and using your dyno. If you're using a different dyno, or if you're on the street, this will be different, or maybe not work at all for you. So what I'm gonna do with your dyno, I'm gonna turn on, let's see what we got. I'll show you the dyno computer in me. Because you can see my face. I'm gonna turn this setup here. Oh shit. We were logging because I must have hit the well, that was my fault. I hit the keyboard. So we're gonna save and restart. Don't worry about all that stuff. It's all completely wrong. Oh, I see. That off. So right now I'm going to get into third gear again. We're about 175 degrees of the car. We're okay. So what we can do is we'll turn brake mode on to manual. If you can see where my mouse is bouncing around there, I think we're at that one. That one. We're at manual mode. Currently the hold RPM we're going to request is 4,000, which is a lot. I'm going to lower that down with the keyboard. We're going to drop that down to 3,000. And then what I can do actually is I can turn the brake on, that's the eddy brake, and I can roll into the throttle and it will hold RPM. Okay, so if I turn the brake on, now with the dyno you're going to see target RPM is set at 3,000. RPM, we're going to drop it down to 2,500. RPM error is just a little bit. So if I roll into it, we're holding now. So if you look over here, the brake is coming on, and we're holding within about an RPM. Now watch, so come over to the tuning computer, see how this works. It's really cool. I like showing stuff off, and it's neat. So right now you see the engine speed's at 2,500 RPM, and my throttle position is at about 9. I'm gonna roll into the throttle and watch the RPM stay solid. So now we're at 12% throttle and RPM still at 25. Our fuel ratio is a little bit lean there, not terrible. Okay, so with solid state tuning, what's beautiful about this is what you're gonna do is, only time I would say to use auto tune is we can turn auto tune on now, and it's going to start dialing it in. Because we're on the dyno and it's solid, I can roll into the throttle. It's going to start loading up, and we're going to bring up higher and higher and higher until we get the fuel ratios are going to dial themselves in. Okay, and then on the dyno, let's switch over to that for a moment. If you look down over in this area here, target RPM 2,500, I'm going to bump it up to 3,000. The car does now come up to 3,000. And now over to tuning, now you see we're in a different bin. Fuel ratio here is fine, so I'm going to roll into it a little bit more. We're going to bring up and out of the RPM. Okay, we're gonna come off here. We're gonna apply those changes because it did change a little bit. The car might stall. I'm gonna turn the brake off of the engine, of the dyno. I'm not sure what you're seeing right now, so I think you're seeing that. Okay. Car's idling a little bit high right now, so stop auto tune. Now let's look at our VE table, since auto-tune did take hold a little bit. So we got some bumps. We got some bumps right there. I don't like bumps. You don't want bumps anywhere. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna smooth that out a little bit over to the VE, and I'm just gonna kind of do this sort of thing, and I'm gonna smooth it a little bit. Look at that VE table. That's good. Now we're a little bit rich. I think the M20, or it seems like any single valve BMW engine, does like to idle a little bit rich. So it seems to be a little smoother. And again, there's no idle valve on this car, so we could crack it down a little bit to bring that idle down, because we are about 1,200 right now. I think we could bring it down and help out a little bit. Oh man, just got word from powder coater that parts are done. That's quick. Sweet. Dropped them off yesterday. Okay.
All right, let's see here. I think it's time to do some baby pulls to kind of start seeing what we're doing into boost. I haven't done that yet with this car at all. All right, we're gonna turn this. All right, we're gonna turn this one over to full temperature boost. So now we can see we got boost there. I'm not sure what we have on, so make sure we have the tuning computer on. Engine's at 175 degrees, which is perfectly okay. We're gonna do some little tiny pulls, not even really controlled by the dyno. It's just straight up inertia, just to see how the thing builds boost and see what happens. I think our boost controller is currently on, so we're gonna turn that off, holding both buttons. Yep, so now it should go just off the wastegate spring. We'll do them in some simple little third gear pulls and kind of see what our AFR starts looking at. We're gonna data log this. So again, data log is start, and we'll show you how to do that because some people do forget or not know how to do it. You go data logging, start data logging, and then you hit save. So that's how it saves into that same file. I'm gonna be watching as we do the pull. I'm going to be watching boost, and I'm watching fuel ratio. No, one more thing. While we're sitting here, let's do this. Boost control enabled. Okay, spark. So over boost is set up right now. We have it set up as spark cut. Maximum boost 188 kPa. So 88 kPa that's fine. So we're going to leave that as it is for now. That was set up in the tune beforehand. So if we hit boost cut, we will. At 88 kPa, which is probably about 10 pounds of boost, somewhere in there. Okay, so we'll get in third gear. And again, we're not logging anything on the dyno right now. Just to kind of show you how this works. And if you were on the street, this would work just the same way. Do little pulls and start looking at what your fuel ratio is and how things are laying out. Okay, so we're holding about 2,000 RPMs. You can see our VE table, and you can see our air fuel ratio, which is kind of lean right there. And we're going to add a little. We'll add a little fuel there, and we're going to burn that so it saves. It's going to buck. And then I'm going to go wide up in throttle here. We'll slow down just a little bit. We'll wide up in throttle, see what kind of boost we make. Again, I'm probably only going to take it to about 5,000 RPMs, we'll see. That was a quick pull. If you noticed, we did go lean, so that means that our numbers are not a little bit, they need to come up. So when I'm starting, what I do is I select a whole bunch of stuff, kind of right over kPa, and I just crank it up. We'll arrow key it up there. We're gonna burn, it's gonna pop. You probably didn't hear it, but it did spit and sputter a little bit there, so maybe a little fuel cut. Just for safety, we're gonna pull a little bit of timing out here too. That's more than really fine, but just for the sake of what we're doing. All right, let's see, so you can see. Look at that. You can watch it actually do some simple. Yeah, no, that's not right. You want to see a tuning computer. You want information. Okay, we're in third gear right now. 170 degrees. Air fuel ratio is beautiful. Boost, we're pulling vacuum right now. I'm gonna floor it, and we're specifically watching the boost and fuel ratio. If this starts going lean, once this gets up in this zone here, I'm gonna lift. If not, I'll probably let it go. Okay. If you notice, that was much better. We saw 11s and a little bit of 12s. So we're gonna stop that data log. We're gonna start logging so we got something fresh. and then we're gonna I'm gonna do a little bit of a pull. I'm on the phone. Huh? Someone's here looking for something. Give me one moment, I'll be right back. I will return.
Ladies parked out there looking for someone to send her over here for a seatbelt or something.
For what? Okay, I should be back now. Or I'm not back in the car, but I'm coming. Some lady came looking for a seatbelt. It's not us. There, I'm back. I'm back. Alright, so we have the data logging going or not. We're going to stop it because I don't remember where we're at. So we're starting the data log. Save that. I'm not sure what you have now. I think you got the tuning computer, this one, set up. We'll do a little pull, third gear again, and then we'll look at some data logs and see what it looks like. I think we're looking pretty okay. If it goes lean, I will lift, and then we'll look at them. Maybe we'll do two. So we'll pop over to the dyno, so you can see it do stuff. Again, the dyno screen isn't going to change. I guess we could actually see what the we'll see what kind of power it makes. It probably won't make much of anything because we're doing a very, very little pull just to see what ratios we got, what kind of boost we have. You can see we got boost there. All right, so we're logging right now. Hit space power and we'll do a very little pull. Very, very, very little pull. Save and close. All right, let's shut that first one off. And hopefully you can see that. Let's see, dyno computer. We're gonna stop logging here. Got a lot of stuff going on at one time, but normal. Okay, let's make this bigger so you can see. So it made 170 horsepower and 200 foot-pounds of torque with that little pull. I would say that's not bad. All right, let's see what kind of boost it made. And we hit 6 pounds of boost in that area. Now that was, again, a very, very short pull, no load at all, inertia only. That was only like a 3-second pull. So this data is probably not the most accurate. We probably made less power than that because it was so quick. But just to kind of show you the idea of what's going on. We're gonna shut the car off. And we'll look at a little bit of data real quick. We're gonna turn some fans off. Off. We'll come back to that in a moment. Okay. Tuning computer and me. Hey. So now we're going to go over to Megalog Viewer. Yes, the file did change here, so we're going to hit yes. I kind of lose my head. All right, we're going to open a log. Logs. And let's see. one. Okay. Again, there was a very small pull. I'm just kind of looking to see what kind of fuel ratios we're getting before going ham. And so I keep RPM, map, TPS there, AFR there. This stuff could all be shut off if I wanted to, but it's there. And then you can see what our maps look like. My head probably isn't down in this zone here, so you're missing that spot. All right. So up arrow key lets you zoom in and out in Megalog Viewer like that. And then right and left arrow keys on the keyboard, you can move through the graph. And the more you do this, the better you get at it. We're going to turn some of these off so we get a little bit more screen. Okay. AFR. I probably could put AFR on this one. Turn this off too. We got one just graph. We're going to make this over here smaller so you can see what's going on. All right, so zoom in with up arrow. There's our pole right there. So the white line, I can't put my finger on it, I have to use the mouse so I'm going to explain things. This line here, this is RPM, indicated there. The red, that's going to be boost as you see it comes on. And then TPS, that's my foot, and yeah, 93. And then that's our AFR. So if you see 90, we were at 93% of TPS. I wasn't wide open throttle probably because my toe was in it and I got big boots on. So, but what we're really interested in is watching boost, see what kind of boost we at, watching AFR. That's what our importance is. This dip right here is me jam my foot on the pedal, so then we get a lot of air, a quick spot, so it is going to go lean there. Let's see what that was. What was AFR there? No, it went rich because it dumped a bunch of fuel and it wasn't catching up. Probably because if you go back to earlier in the video, that the cell enrichment is probably too high. Okay. So we can look at AFR up in this right-hand corner, or we can watch it here. So I'm gonna not really worry about that big dip because that's kind of incorrect, but we're at 13 there. And then once we start coming up into boost, so we're at 11s, and then 12, 12.4, 12.3. That's pretty happy. That's not bad. A little bit lean, or a little bit rich at 11, I don't know, 11.9 would probably be okay. 12s, I mean, it's not bad. It's actually pretty darn good. I would say we add a little bit of fuel there where we're hitting 13s, and then I want to see this. I want to see us right around high 11s, just for the sake of safety. We hit only about, like I said, what I say on the dyno we hit 7 psi. This is showing the same. All right, so now you can use Megalog Viewer to VE analyze and actually have it adjust, or you can do it on your own. I like to do it on my own, because then we're changing the whole table and we know where we're coming from and where we're going to. Okay, so let's get to that spot where we were a little bit lean. Okay, so that was, what's that, 13.7, that's a little lean there. Not bad, because we're really in very, very little boost, if anything, but where are we at there? Okay, so right in this spot, 2600 RPM, just coming into boost. We're going to richen this whole area up. I think we can do this, just right there. Will it change over here? Yep, and then we can do that. So from Megalog Viewer, I don't do this a lot this way. I usually just go into Tuner Studio and change it. We can select here and then just change it. So we change this whole band up just a little bit, and then let's start coming up higher. So there we're at 12. We've already added a little bit of fuel there, but so now I'm gonna go this band all the way up, and I'm gonna add a little bit of fuel all the way across there. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit more here. Again, we would rather be rich then lean. We can always take fuel out, but when we're creeping it up on them here, we don't want to go bonkers. All right, let's save that tune. All right, Megalog viewer or Tuner Studio over here is going to then say that it changed. Yes, we're going to change it. We're going to turn the car on. And the car on, so you're going to get that little pop-up. And what that pop-up means is that we changed some things on Tuner Studio, but it's different on the actual ECU. So what we're going to do is we can either send Tuner Studio settings here, or you can use controller settings. Controller settings would be the ECU in the car. We want to send Tuner Studio settings because we changed them like that. It sends them. We're going to look real quick at this VE table just to kind of see what the fuel ratio. So you can see I have that ramp, so that's from me adding that extra fuel from the log. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, we're going to start the car. Computer, you can watch me. We're going to go that one. We're going to turn some fans on so it doesn't stink the building out. I'm going to show the tuning computer here. So it's idling right now about 1100 RPMs, and we're a little bit, just a skosh lean. Just a skosh. So that might be a little bit of after start enrichment stuff. We're going to go into that fuel table and look and see where we're at. I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs here because eventually it will. There's so many different things of what the car wants and what it likes. So we're going to add a little bit in there just to see what it does and how that kind of lays out. Appreciate those that are watching. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Okay. So we'll hop over here. We're going to do another pull. We're going to log that up. We'll do it again in third gear. So Dyno computer, you can see the layout, but you can't see what AFR is. I don't have that gauge set up right now. The sensor isn't plugged in. I'm watching it on the tuning laptop. So we're going to start a pull. If it looks good, I'll take it up all the way. Felt pretty good. We're going to do another one. The third gear again. Come down a little bit, and we'll just start a pull about 1800 RPMs or so if we can. Again, third gear, so it's going to be a quick pull. So we took it up a little bit further that time. You can see here in the dyno setup. Here, let's go full screen on that one. Okay, I'm going to stop this log. I'm going to shut the car off. We'll let it run a little warm up. So you can see we did go up just a little bit. See if we make that bigger for you to see. So we went higher up in the RPM band there. That time we made 238, 232. So quite a bit more power over stock. And we're holding up. So let's see what kind of boost did we have there. We hit 9 pounds of boost, which is going off that spring, so that makes perfect total sense. So let's see what the logs look like, see what kind of fuel we have going on there. We'll add a little bit more fuel if not, and then we'll do some fourth gear pulls, and then we'll add some boost. Sure, I'll shut the car off. Oh shit, shoot. All right, we're gonna turn some fans off here. I think you got the Dyno computer full screen, so we'll turn some fans off. I got that set up so I can go here, off, off. All right. So we're gonna turn off that first run, so you can see that's so. As you can see on the dyno, we're coming up on boost. Let's see, so you can see me. We're coming up on boost right in this zone right here because you can see how our torque and RPM everything start cranking up. Again, that only went up to 5,000 RPMs, and all these little dots. Very quick pull, third gear. So I don't know how accurate we are there, but we're hitting about 7 pounds of boost there, 9 pounds of boost, almost at a higher RPM. Okay, let's take a look at that log. Take a look at that log. Over to Tuner Studio. So the tune changed here in Megalog Viewer, so it's going to say, hey, did you want to update it? Yeah, we do. We do. Okay, zoom out. Now we should have 2 big peaks. Those are our poles. There's one pole, and then there's our pole. We'll look at them both. I think it's pretty darn okay for me watching the data as we came up. But let's see what we got. I'm sure people can critique me, but go for it. That's the point. So 12s, 11, 9. That's not bad. That's not bad. Huh? Yeah. Tim's stepping in. Hey, Tim. Say hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, 240.
That's all right.
Yeah, 9 pounds of boost, and that's in third gear, so it might drop. It might be different in fourth, but it sounded nice, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll bring it up to probably 13 pounds of boost. So we'll probably be
260.
yeah or more. Yeah. Yep.
That'd be a fun number.
Yeah.
It's
Sound
good,
it's
especially for a vert.
yeah. You get all the things.
Yeah.
All the things. How's that going?
Good. I think it's gonna. You won't really be able to tell.
Oh, I meant yeah, with the paddle box.
Yeah.
Cool. You need to make some food?
Yeah, it's on the road.
All right, sweet. That was Tim. So what Tim's doing is taking a O2 paddle box, got some little tiny pinholes in it, and we're just tacking it up and then clean it up and weld it for an O2 restoration that we're doing. Okay, so this on. All right, let's look at the. Let's go. You don't need to look at me. There. Okay. White line is RPM. As you can see, RPM's coming up. Boost is the red line, and we're hitting top of that peak. 164. The dyno showed we didn't. I might have hit the button earlier. So fuel ratio, we're sitting high 11s. That's pretty darn okay. A little peak of 12 there. So there at the top in this zone of our spot, we're starting to see 12.7. That's a little bit leaner than I would like. So we're going to go this spot here, and we're going to bring that up a skosh. And we're going to bring this area up just a skosh too, just a little. Because when we do it fourth gear, we might produce a little bit more boost. And then this changed. Yes, we want to load the settings. Let's look at the table. Looks pretty okay. Okay, so we go key on. And like I said a few minutes ago, before we do those other polls, it's going to say, do you want to make these changes? We're going to make these changes. So that's gonna send that. We're gonna start the car. Dyno computer, I'm gonna turn some fans on. Okay, I'm gonna resync the RPM now, so we're in fourth gear, so we can do a fourth gear poll, which is a little bit longer, and we get a little bit better data. So you got RPM there at 2,000. I'm holding the pedal steady. There's the tuning computer. You can see we're at 2,000 there. We're in 4th gear now. We're going to go to the dyno overlay there. Again, we're going to do, we'll do a pull now in 4th gear. We'll see what kind of boost we make here. RPMs here. We'll do, again, just a straight up inertia only pull. And we'll start logging on the Tuner Studio to see what's going on there. Yeah, let's see. So we're going to go 4th gear. I'll be watching on the computer. If I do, if fuel ratio doesn't look the way I want it, I'm going to lift. So, but if not, take it all the top. Bring RPMs down just a smidgen. That's 5,000 RPMs. Everything looks really nice. Let's see what that number turned out as. 257, 273, because we did take it up a little bit higher. And we're in 4th gear, so we may boost a little bit higher. So you can see the difference there. We're gonna do another pull. And then we'll look at some data. Here, I'll let you watch it from the back end. Everyone likes looking at the rear end sometimes. There's from the back. We're about 2,000 RPMs right now. I'm gonna start the dyno log and mat it and see where we go. Took that one up a little bit further RPM wise. That made more power. Definitely felt that. She felt good. 260 and 277 foot-pounds of torque. That's in this pull right here. Okay, we'll let the car cool down just a little bit. We're gonna turn the data logging off. But I'll say that's pretty darn okay. That's pretty okay, everybody. I think you got, well, I guess what do you have there? I don't know what you got. Let's see. Look at that while it warms up, cools down a little bit. I'll hop over to the feed and see what people are actually saying, if anything. 4 people watching. This is, yeah, it is. So Steven's the owner of this car. Starting to make some power. How far do you want to take it, Steve? Or Kelso? I feel like you just go by Kelso. That makes more sense to me. You want to go 15 pounds of boost, 12 pounds of boost, 11 pounds of boost? Let's take a look at this log. And then I think we're going to start turning the boost controller on and see what that does and how that looks comparatively to everything. All right, so we'll turn some fans off. Look at some data here. Okay, some data here. So they're laying around on top of each other. Again, this is inertia only. We're not adding any load to the dyno. This is from the rolls. So you can see now how boost comes on. So let's look at a pull in 3rd gear. So see how the boost doesn't come on nearly the same. In 4th gear, it comes on a lot harder because we're loaded. So when we load the dyno, this will come on even different. Because you need to have load to be able to. You need to have load to be able to spool the turbo. More load, more spooling of the turbo. So that's why we made so much more power in 4th gear over 3rd gear. So we're going to look at those 4th gear pulls. And let's see what boost is, because we made more boost. That's why I also made more power, is we made more boost. So that we're peaking at 11 pounds of boost there. So again, that's why we made more power too. Let's look at that 3rd gear pull. And here, down here, we'll bring this up a little bit so you can look more at the boost stuff. This is all boost. This low one here, that's in 3rd gear. That's in 4th gear, okay? So our 4th gear pull, we made more boost right on. We made more boost up top because we have more load, okay? More load, more boost. Everything else is exactly the same. So we peaked at 11 pounds of boost there, and the old one was about 9.5. So actually, sorry, 11 and a half. So we got 2 pounds more boost. And we might be getting boost cut coming in there. That might be what we're feeling. Okay, turn that third gear pull off. And I should hook up the AFR gauge so you can see that in the dyno too, and maybe that would be later in our time. It's getting hungry. We're gonna eat soon. So here we have our, that is power, 260. Yeah, and inertia only, so this is just going off the rolls. And then 252 torque at 5,300 RPM. Yeah, we lifted just before 6,000. Or I stopped the pull. Okay, so we're gonna hop over and look at some logs now. I think we did 2 pulls, right? Yeah, 2. We'll look at both of them. Alright, so we're seeing, if you look up here, this is what the actual data is on that line. We're seeing 11.6 on AFR, we're about 160 kPa, 11.6, 11s, that's beautiful. I like that. I like that, pretty A-okay. So I just kind of scroll through this whole thing. We're seeing a little bit of 13s right here, but we're just coming into boost. And that's probably it kind of recovering from me throttle there. So we could add a little bit of fuel in this zone. I would say we add just a tiny little bit. Again, that might make it feel a little bit weird, but we'll see what that does just to we're gonna hold this whole band. We'll just add just a little bit of fuel here. Happy a little fuel. A little bit there. We'll save that tune, and then it's going to flash us down here on this guy because we changed it. Yep. All right. I lifted about 37. All right. So we're hitting 177 kPa. So we didn't hit boost cut. Boost cut was set at 188 kPa. We should change boost cut so it's at like 190. Let's see what Kelso's saying. What's he want to run this thing up to? 12, 15. I wish Tim's mom was bringing burritos. No, Tim's chicken going on the grill. Yeah, 12 to 15 is probably happy. So let's I'm gonna set the boost limit at 14 psi. I would say you stay around there, and then you can always turn it up. You can always add more power. One nice thing about a turbo car is when you get bored with power, turn it up, run more. It gets addicting, but you get used to that power, and it's like, hey, that's it. You know, I'm not making any more power now, so let's add more boost. More boost. Yes. All right. So let's see here. What we hitting on? Let's look at that tune again. We were hitting pretty okay there. Was it starting to go lean at all? Nope. No. So we're going to start impinging on this area up here now. We're going to add a little bit more boost, so we're going to add just a little more fuel there, just for safety's sake. And I think we might add a little bit more timing. Let's look at this timing table. Is that really real? All right, let me look at that. Let it cap here. Well, that's AFR table. That's AFR table here. We don't want AFR table. We want advanced table. Okay. So here's our advanced table. We're hitting about 14 degrees of timing in that area. We're going to take a little bit, just a little bit out there. And then we're going to add a little bit down in this area to help spool it a little bit more. Just a little, not much. Just a skosh. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna turn the. Oh, actually, no. I think that the boost controller was on. It was on. So that's why we were hitting over. We were hitting above above the boost spring. So let's do a pull. Boost spring only, inertia in 4th gear. And then we'll turn boost control back on. We'll do a pull. And then we'll add a little bit more duty cycle, do a pull, and start creeping up on that, start creeping up on the gate. So send the data. We're gonna change this maximum 200 kPa, that's 14 PSI. We're gonna cut spark only. And then it'll come back in just below that. Okay, we'll burn that. So I wanna show you with the phone. Here's our boost controller in the thing. So it says, actually, maybe it was off. It says boost control. It says the camera will focus. It says SC off. If I hold these both at the same time, now it's on. So if I hold them again, so that was probably actually boost was off. So let's turn boost. Let's turn the boost controller on. It's time. It's time. Okay, we're on. We're on. You can see my head, myself. If I'm doing this, and anyone that's watching have any things that we're doing here, and you want me to explain anything, let me know. Okay, let's start the car. Let me know if you want me to explain anything, and I will definitely do that. I'm happy to teach and show you some stuff. Remember, if you don't know, I was a teacher at one time. I taught K-12 music to a bunch of children. Turn some fans on. Let's see here. That one. My car. Let's see what people are saying while the car warms up here a little bit. See if anyone's asking anything. Hang in there. I'm replying to a couple of people. Just a basic, simple little tune on his truck. All right. So boost control is on now. Let's see what we make. Again, we're gonna do inertia only. I'll be watching Tuning Computer while you all should have that one where you get to see boost, you get to see some power that it's kind of making, and RPM. If it goes lean at all, I am going to lift. But otherwise, we're going to take it up all the way and see where it does. And fourth gear, 2,000 RPMs. Yeah, if it goes lean, I'm going to lift, so if you notice it going up early, that's what's going on. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to move that guy around. Alright. I probably should take it up further. But it sounded fancy and I wanted to see what kind of power we were making there. I didn't take a log. A little bit more boost, about the same actually. See, I lifted kind of early. 260, 270. Okay. That's what you can see the dyno computer. Someone message me. Alright, hang on I got a reply to a guy. The guy got coming to do a quick tune, so we'll probably end around when that guy shows up. Alright, so let's try it again. Get a thing going. What y'all want to see? What you want to see? Let's go to a different scene. That one there. Oh, you hear that blow valve a little bit. She's feisty. All right, I'm gonna data log this one so I can actually see what we're doing, because I forgot to do that last time. That's okay, man. I didn't really tell anyone. We're just testing this stuff out. It's a new thing to try. Okay, so we got that computer over there. You can hear my voice. Oh, I can smell some chicken going on. We're gonna do a pull here up the top and watch. I'm gonna watch AFR inside here and see what goes on. All right. Well, you guys can watch from that spot there. Yowzer. I think we hit max boost there. I think it felt it hit. Oh, maybe not. 260, 277. What was boost there? Felt like we were peaking. Let's look at that log now. All right, so I lifted because we hit boost cut is what happened there. So we get to 10 and then it opens up. So we got a little bit too much duty cycle on the controller, I think. Or maybe we're getting some, it's possible we're getting some boost creep. A little bit of boost creep, maybe. A little bit of boost creep. All right, shut the car off. So if you notice on the tuning computer here, we'll just make sure we have that on. It kind of spikes in this area right here, where my spot is. That's us. It's either creep or it's when the gate opened up or the gate closed. That's kind of a weird looking little thing there. How we got that big spike, or it might just be making more power there because we're hitting that higher RPM range. I'm gonna look and see at the dyno screen here too. Look at that. Hang on. I think Tim's making food, but I'm gonna keep going on this until we're done, or until the other guy shows up. Okay. What do we hit there boost-wise? On the dyno, we're only saying 12, but in the computer, we saw more. And we're peaking there. 45. See, torque kind of falls off right here is when we're kind of running out of cam in that spot. So I think we'll change the boost controller. We're going to lower the duty cycle down, and then we're going to change the crack pressure up a little bit. So the crack pressure means that. Oh, hang on a second. Turn the fans off. The crack pressure means when the gate allows to open at all, so it keeps it locked shut that whole time. Yeah. So okay, we're gonna change that a little bit here. Oops. Do this with the keys. All right, we're gonna. Oops. Shoot. definitely much easier to do on a computer, oh, this one, than pushing the keys like so. I think it's... All right, so we got duty cycle set at 16 right now. We're going to drop that down to 10. 10. And then hold that. 10. Shoot. So we got AFR, wait, start pressure. We want, that's fine. Shoot. I'm not a big fan of this thing. Oh, I lied. So this boost controller does not have that availability to. This does not have the availability to have crack pressure. So that would be more on like the Innovate, or not, sorry, the AEM does that, True Boost, and also in Mega Squirt here. So we'll do another pull. I think it might just be kind of the size of this turbo and the way this is going to spool. In the way, I mean, we could add more. I could add a lot more wastegate or duty cycle to get more boost, and we might do that. Maybe not here in this moment on live stream because I got some people showing up, and it's going to get kind of busy here. But we'll take a look at that log. What was our AFR tuning computer? You can watch that. So we went. We're pretty okay. Turn some fans on. Oh no, no we don't. So let's do a couple more pulls. We're gonna do a little bit more logging, and then I'm gonna have to sign off here because I got to eat, and I got somebody showing up for another tune. But we'll keep doing this so y'all can learn a little bit more, and you can watch what we're doing because it's fun. We're going to data log this. So we're going to do a fourth gear pull with inertia only, and then I'm going to do a fourth gear pull with some load on the dyno to be able to let it ramp and see what that does for AFR for boost and see what that changes, because it's going to change it a great deal. So this is inertia only, and then we'll do loaded pull. And again, I'm watching AFR on the computer here, so if it goes lean, I'm gonna lift. But it seems okay. All right, cool. $260, $275. See your dyno computer, so you can see that. So I am lifting a little bit on the car. I don't know if we need to really go that much farther. But actually, we don't have to go much farther because power starts falling off right here. There's really no point. Boost, we got we're hitting 11s on this. All right, I'm gonna add a little more duty cycle now to the because I had 16 before. I'm going to add a little bit more back in. We're at 10 right now. We're going to bump that up to 14. You might lose my computer here or my phone because I only have about 10% left on this display that I'm using for my face. So in fourth gear, we're going to make sure we're data logging. I'm going to do a pull. I'm watching AFR on the car here, so if we do get a little bit lean, I will lift. I'm going to bring the RPMs down, and then again, we'll do a loaded pull to see what that does. So I think we're getting some boost creep as it comes on. I might need to look at that because we're not hitting. It peaked really hard at the end, right at the end, up to 14, and then it lifted. I'm gonna look a little bit at the boost controller settings. I'm gonna have some things messed up in there to gain some because we're not adding more power based on what I'm asking for. I think we're gonna stop there because we need to look a little bit more at the wastegate and some things there. But we're making some power. We're making the 270 horsepower. I mean that's nothing to joke at. You shouldn't be joking about it. You're joking? That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. I'm gonna shut the car off. We'll look at that the boost controller settings a little bit more. Bump over to this. So again, we topped out at. Let me see here what we have. This is inertia only, so it'll probably make a little more if we load it up, maybe. Dyno computer. 260 and 272 foot-pounds of torque. See, we got this little spike right here where that's where boost is coming on hard right there. So I need to look at the boost controller settings. I think I can change that so it comes on differently. But I want to look at it on the computer. It's a little easier. And we're going to run out of battery, and I got to eat, and there's people showing up for other tunes. But to give you some idea of what we got going on with this Machineroni. All right, I'll be there. Tim just came in with a pile of food. So, and then it really falls off right in this area. You can see it's falling off power-wise area. We're running out of cam, but 272 foot-pounds of torque up top there, and horsepower is building. This is right where boost really comes on hard. You can see because that torque peak really zips up quickly. I haven't played anything with timing or at all. Just fueling, and you can see it right here at the end. I need to look at the boost controller settings. I think that might be what our issue is, or maybe there is a crack pressure that I can let it control, because we're hitting 10 and then right here it really spikes, and then I hit 14 and then hit boost limit, but we're at the end of the cam there, so we're kind of not using it. So if we could get boost to come on in this area in the 4,000 RPM range, then this is going to come up and we're going to make some more power. So I'm going to look at the boost controller settings and after I eat, and we'll see if we can make some more. Maybe we'll go live a little bit later, depending on how things lay out. Maybe I'll put an AFR gauge on this car while some things charge. So I appreciate those that are watching. Hopefully this will become a more normal thing, and it's a little bit of information for y'all out there. And this will be something that we do on the regular, so you can learn and improve. Yeah, that's the goal. So this is Jake with Classic Daily signing off for a little bit. I'm gonna go eat some chicken, and I may be back later. If you are following us, follow us on social medias and on the YouTube. I haven't really done this too much, but if you're on the YouTubies, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the little bell, because then when we do go live, it's gonna alert you. So if you're sitting at work, staring at a computer, or riding a roller coaster, or